The American soldiers noticed something strange on the surface of the sea. A ship was approaching quietly, but there was no indication on the radar. The captain immediately ordered the communications officer to identify the ship, but no matter how much Lacey called, there was no answer. Paul guessed that it was probably a ship that had come to change the watch, but the captain pressed the alarm button and told Baldhead to stand by on the deck. Despite the confusion, the men follow the order to turn their guns. The unknown ship continues to approach and the hearts of the men are in their throats. They've been stationed here for 2 years. The watchtower is in a state of disrepair after years of being exposed to severe storms. The reactor had suffered a minor leak in the tsunami. The men had to take weekly iodine baths to counteract the radiation. But what's worse is that the storm has swept away all their supplies, and they're living on a limited edition of stinky fish. And this has been going on for over 3 months, now that a ship had finally appeared. They had to take advantage of it no matter what. So the captain took out his rifle and ordered Paul to go scout. Although reluctant, there were only 4 of them in the watchtower. Paul was in charge of communications, and Baldhead was in charge of artillery, so he thought he could only go on his own, but he couldn't expect the captain to take the risk himself. But as he got closer to the ship, the eerie atmosphere intensified. Although the ship was scarred and rusted, it still sailed smoothly. But Paul looked around and didn't see a single crew member. When no one answered, Paul had to go up on deck because it was their only hope of getting away. As a precaution, Paul turned off the walkie-talkie, but the situation on the ship made him completely dumbfounded. The cobwebs on the teacup showed that this was a real ghost ship, but judging by the 4 uniforms neatly folded in the cabin, it was definitely a friendly boat coming to relieve the troops. But everyone had disappeared into thin air. Luckily, all the food supplies were still there, and Paul, who hadn't eaten for months, immediately took refuge in his mouth. Unbeknownst to him, the captain guessed that Paul had been killed because of the delay in getting a response, and the only way out of this situation was to destroy the other ship. But since the distance was beyond the range of the artillery, they could only use the ultimate weapon. This requires the activation of 2 keys, one for the captain and one for Lacey. Lacey obviously did not agree with the captain's decision, but she knew what would happen if she disobeyed the military orders, and after a moment of hesitation, she had to hand it over. The captain inserted the 2 keys and activated the computer program, and within a few moments, he had the random launch codes.